For 1,000 years, the chamber stayed silent. No voices, no movement, no light. Deep inside an ancient alien research vault, hidden beneath layers of metal and forgotten code, a single stasis pod still had power. Its surface was scratched by time, its lights dim, but its core remained alive. The species that built this place had vanished long ago. Their cities were dust, their names were myths. New empires ruled the galaxy now. Most of them did not even know this station existed, until a salvage crew found it. They were not explorers, they were scavengers. They moved from dead systems to forgotten ruins, looking for anything valuable. Old tech, rare metals, lost data. When they entered the vault, even they felt uneasy. The air was cold, too cold. Their scanners showed nothing useful at first, broken machines, empty halls. Then one signal appeared. Power, still running. They followed it. At the center of the chamber stood a single pod, tall and sealed, covered in ancient symbols. A weak blue light pulsed inside it, steady and calm. The crew leader stepped closer and wiped away dust from a metal plate. He read the label out loud. Human, primitive species, preserved for observation. The room went quiet. Then laughter filled the chamber. "A human?" one of them said. "Those things were real?" Another shook his head. "I thought they were just stories. Weak bodies, short lives, no chance in space." Humans were legends now, a footnote in old galactic records, a species that failed to survive the great expansions. Most believed they were extinct. The crew gathered around the pod. One wanted to sell it. A living relic could bring a high price. Museums paid well for ancient creatures. Another wanted to destroy it. Old things sometimes cause problems. But curiosity won. "Let's open it," the leader said. "Just once. I want to see what a human looks like." They entered the command. The pod resisted. Old systems woke up, confused and angry. Lights flared across the chamber. Symbols flashed red. Warning sounds echoed through the vault. Then the seals broke. Alarms screamed. Air rushed in as the pod opened with a deep hiss. Cold vapor spilled across the floor like fog. The chamber shook as machines that had slept for 1,000 years struggled to function again. Inside the pod, something moved. A sharp breath broke the silence. The human inhaled like a man drowning who had finally reached air. His chest rose and fell, his fingers twitched, his skin was pale, marked by thin lines of old scars. Then his eyes opened. They were calm, not afraid, not confused. The salvage crew stepped back without knowing why. Above them, the ancient station's AI activated for the first time in a millennium. Its voice was weak, distorted, and ignored by the crew. But it spoke anyway. Containment failed. Strategic asset active. The human slowly looked around the chamber. He took in the alien faces, the strange armor, the unfamiliar weapons. He understood one thing immediately. He was no longer in his time. Instead of panic, a small smile formed on his face. Not relief, not joy, but certainty. The galaxy had moved on, and it had just made a mistake. The human's name was Elias Ward. He did not panic when the aliens surrounded him. He did not shout or beg. He did not even ask where he was. He simply sat at the edge of the open pod and listened. The salvage crew talked freely. They thought he could not understand them. They spoke about Earth as if it were a bad memory, a dead world, a failure. They said humans had burned their planet, fought each other, and vanished before they could reach the stars in strength. "Your kind never lasted," one of the aliens said with a grin. "Too emotional, too weak." Another laughed. "The galaxy belongs to stronger species now." Elias heard every word. He showed no reaction. His silence made them uncomfortable, so they kept talking. They explained how the galaxy worked now. Massive empires controlled thousands of systems. Fleets blocked entire regions of space. Power belonged to those with the biggest weapons and the largest numbers. Humans, they said, were not missed. Elias slowly stood. His legs felt heavy, but he remained steady. His eyes moved across the chamber, studying everything: the shape of the walls, the position of the guards, the way the crew leader stood slightly behind the others. Inside his mind, something woke up. Before stasis, Elias had not been a soldier. He had never led troops. He had never fired a weapon in anger. He had been something more dangerous: a planner. Humanity knew it was losing. Wars, climate collapse, and limited resources had pushed Earth to the edge. Humanity did not have the strength to fight the galaxy. They knew this, so they chose a different path. They created minds trained to think far ahead, minds designed to learn fast, adapt faster, and survive at any cost. Elias was one of the last. His mission was simple: observe the future, understand it, then decide. As the aliens led him through the station, Elias listened and watched. He noticed how guards trusted their armor too much, how doors opened on shared codes, how the station relied on automated systems with no human-like intuition. The galaxy had advanced, but it had grown lazy. They brought him to a viewing hall. Stars drifted outside the massive window, bright and cold. One alien pointed toward the void. "That used to be your space, empty now." Elias felt something tighten in his chest. Earth was gone. Humanity was gone. Everyone he had known was dust. For the first time, his face changed. Not anger, not grief, focus. If humans had failed, then this galaxy believed strength was everything. It believed fear ruled. It believed control came from power alone. That belief was wrong. Elias understood something the galaxy had forgotten. Survival did not belong to the strongest. It belonged to the ones who learned. That night, alone in a containment room, Elias finally spoke. Not to the aliens, to himself. He whispered a single sentence taught to him before stasis: "Learn first, act last." Outside his cell, the station's AI watched him in silence. Old files unlocked, human protocols reactivated, long-buried warnings resurfaced. The galaxy thought humans were weak. It had forgotten what humans did when they had nothing left to lose. And Elias Ward had just begun to remember everything. Elias was taken to a galactic station unlike anything he had ever imagined. It was massive. Layers of metal rings surrounded a bright core of light. Ships of many shapes and colors moved in and out without pause. Voices from dozens of species filled the air. The station felt alive, like the heart of the galaxy itself. To the aliens, Elias was not a threat. He was a curiosity. They walked him through open halls and crowded platforms, letting others see him. Some pointed, some laughed, some stared with open disbelief. "A real human," one alien said. "I thought they were extinct." Another leaned closer. "He looks so small." Elias said nothing. They called him a relic, a survivor of a failed species, a living joke from a forgotten past. Guards stayed nearby, but they were relaxed. Their weapons stayed lowered. They believed he could do nothing. That belief followed him everywhere. The aliens gave Elias access to data terminals. They wanted him to see how far the galaxy had advanced. They believed human knowledge was too old to matter now. They were wrong. Elias studied everything: trade routes, military records, political agreements, energy networks. He did not rush. He did not show excitement. He simply read, watched, and listened. Human logic worked differently. Where the aliens saw order, Elias saw gaps. Where they saw strength, he saw dependence. Their systems were powerful, but fragile. Too many parts relied on the same signals. Too many decisions were automated. One failure could spread fast. He noticed how the largest empires controlled resources, but not trust. Smaller species followed them out of fear, not loyalty. Alliances were held together by threats and profit, not belief. Elias listened to conversations in corridors. Leaders argued behind closed doors. Traders complained about unfair laws. Soldiers spoke of orders they did not trust. The galaxy was strong, but it was divided. Elias learned the rules quickly. Power ruled everything. Fear kept order. Reputation mattered more than truth. No one trusted anyone fully, and no one expected a human to understand any of it. That was the greatest advantage of all. One day, an alien official asked Elias a question, half mocking, half curious. "What do humans think of our galaxy?" Elias paused. He chose his words carefully. "It's impressive, very advanced." The official smiled proudly. "But?" the alien asked. "But it depends on balance, and balance can break." The alien laughed and walked away. Elias returned to his data screen. He had seen enough to know one thing. This galaxy had no central heart, no shared purpose. Every empire pulled in its own direction. Every leader feared losing control more than losing peace. A divided enemy always fell, not through force, through pressure, through timing, through making small problems grow until they became disasters. That night, Elias stood alone near a wide window. Stars stretched endlessly before him. Somewhere among them, Earth had once existed. He placed a hand against the glass, not in sadness, in promise. The galaxy believed humans were gone, that they had nothing left to offer, that they were weak. Elias knew better. Humans survived by learning the rules, then rewriting them. And soon, the galaxy would learn what happened when it underestimated a human mind. The station lost power for 12 seconds. That was all. Lights died without warning. Screens went black. Gravity flickered. Ships in nearby docks drifted off course. For a brief moment, the heart of the galaxy stopped beating. Then, chaos followed. Trade routes collapsed as navigation beacons failed. Automated ships froze in open space. Defense grids shut down across 3 nearby sectors, leaving borders exposed. Far from the station, 3 battle fleets received false signals. Old enemy markers appeared where allies should have been. Weapons fired. By the time commanders realized the mistake, ships were already burning. When power returned, the station exploded with noise. Alarms screamed, officials shouted orders, security forces rushed through corridors, emergency systems struggled to repair the damage. No one understood what had happened. No one blamed the human, at first. Elias stood quietly inside a command chamber as leaders argued around him. Massive screens showed reports flooding in, losses, confusion, demands for answers. System failure, one official said. Sabotage, another argued. Impossible, a third replied. Our systems are secure. Elias watched them carefully. 12 seconds. That was all he had needed. He had not destroyed anything. He had not hacked deeply. He had only redirected a single timing signal, one the station trusted completely. A weakness hidden behind confidence. The arguments grew louder. Fear crept into their voices. Pride began to crack. Finally, one leader turned toward Elias. "You were accessing our systems," the alien said. "What did you see?" Elias met his eyes. "I saw balance and how easily it breaks." The room went quiet. Then Elias spoke again, his voice calm, almost gentle. "That was a test." Silence spread across the chamber like a shock wave. Every eye turned to him. "A test?" someone whispered. Elias nodded. He stepped forward and tapped the control panel. New images appeared on the screens. Flowcharts, power paths, communication lines. He pointed to a single connection. "This," he said, "controls time synchronization across your networks." The leaders stared. "You built your systems to be fast, not flexible. Everything listens to one signal." He moved his finger. When that signal paused, everything else followed. He did not threaten them. He did not smile. He did not raise his voice. He simply explained. "If I had wanted, I could have kept it off longer. Minutes, hours." Someone swallowed hard. "Or I could have changed what your systems saw. Not darkness, lies." Fear filled the room. For the first time, they looked at Elias not as a relic, but as a danger. One official tried to sound strong. "You endangered lives." Elias nodded once. "Yes," he said, "so do your systems, every day." No one answered. The truth was clear. The galaxy had built power without understanding risk. It had trusted machines more than minds. It had forgotten caution. And now it had awakened a human. When the meeting ended, guards escorted Elias away. This time their weapons were raised. As doors closed behind him, Elias heard hurried voices and emergency orders echoing through the halls. The galaxy had just felt its first regret. 12 seconds. That was all it took. And humans never played fair.
The decision was made in secret. The Galactic Council could not allow Elias Ward to exist. He was not an army. He was not a fleet. But he had already proven more dangerous than both. His knowledge spread fear faster than weapons ever could. So the order was simple: erase him. They did not announce it. They did not warn the station. They acted quietly, the way powerful beings always did when they were afraid. First came the assassins. Silent figures moved through the station at night, using cloaks and dampened weapons. They slipped past guards and cameras, certain they would find Elias sleeping. But his room was empty. The air vents opened instead, releasing a harmless gas that knocked the assassins unconscious. Station security found them hours later, confused and ashamed. Then came the hackers. The Council unleashed advanced artificial minds designed to break through any defense. They attacked Elias's access points, his data links, his old human systems. They found nothing. Every pathway led in circles. Every attack triggered false targets. The hackers were trapped in loops they could not escape. By the time they realized it, their own systems were compromised. Finally, the Council sent kill squads. Heavy armor, full authorization, no mercy. They cornered Elias near a transit hub, weapons locked onto his chest. Elias raised his hands calmly, and the station lights flickered. Emergency alerts sounded across multiple sectors at once. News feeds exploded with leaked information, secret treaties, hidden wars, illegal experiments. Each empire saw its own sins exposed. Allies turned on allies. The kill squads froze as new orders flooded in. Retreat, defend, contain damage. Elias walked away. He had already predicted every move. Elias did not fight directly. He never needed to. Instead, he leaked secrets at the right time. Not everything, just enough. He let fear grow on its own. He whispered truths into places already full of doubt. Factions began to distrust each other. Old grudges returned. Accusations flew across council chambers. The galaxy turned inward. Old human ideas spread quietly. Mutually assured destruction. No one wanted to strike first because everyone feared what would follow. Strategic patience. Elias waited while his enemies rushed. Time did the work for him. Psychological warfare. He never attacked minds directly. He only gave them reasons to attack themselves. The Council met again, this time in panic. "How do we stop him?" one leader demanded. Another answered honestly, "We already can't." They had built empires on force. Elias had built influence on understanding. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Trade slowed, fleets stayed docked, trust evaporated. The galaxy realized the truth too late. Humans did not need strength. They did not need vast armies or powerful weapons. They only needed time. And Elias Ward had all the time in the universe.
In the end, Elias Ward did not rule the galaxy. He had no throne, no crown, no army that answered only to him. Instead, he changed how the galaxy worked. After months of quiet pressure, the great empires came to the same conclusion. War no longer gave them advantage. Every attack created losses that reached far beyond the battlefield. Every secret action carried the risk of being exposed. Elias had redesigned the rules. He helped create systems that watched everyone equally, trade networks that punished aggression with isolation, defense grids that shut down automatically when wars threatened entire regions. Cruelty became expensive. Cooperation became profitable. Elias never stood at the center of power. He stayed in the background, advising when asked, correcting when needed. He did not force obedience. He made resistance pointless. New councils formed, made of many species, not just the strongest. Smaller worlds gained protection through shared systems. Large empires learned restraint, not from kindness, but from survival. The galaxy slowly changed. Years passed. Elias watched from quiet stations and distant worlds. He never stayed long in one place. He trusted no single authority with too much control. He remembered Earth, a world that had destroyed itself by refusing to change, by believing power meant domination, by ignoring consequences until it was too late. The galaxy would not repeat that mistake. One day, a delegation of young species came to meet Elias. They had grown up in the new order. To them, constant war was history, not reality. They asked him a simple question. "Why did you help us?" one of them said. "You gained nothing." Elias looked out through a wide window at the stars. Somewhere out there, among countless systems, Earth had once existed, a blue world with oceans and dreams, a world that taught humans their final lesson. He spoke softly. "Because we learned the hard way," Elias said. The delegation waited, but he said nothing more. They did not need more. Elias knew his time was limited. Humans were not immortal. He had survived longer than any human ever should have, but even that had an end. Before he left, he ensured the systems could run without him. Safeguards within safeguards. No single failure could break the balance he had created. Then he stepped away. The galaxy continued. Trade flowed. Wars faded into rare, controlled conflicts. Cooperation became habit. Stories spread of a human who woke from the past and changed the future. Some called him a savior. Others called him a warning. Both were correct. The galaxy had woken a human from the past, and it paid the price for forgetting what humans were capable of. Not strength, not numbers, but learning, and the will to never make the same mistake twice.